So, welcome back to GPETS 16.0. Today, we are going to talk about BRICS because recently there has been a BRICS summit and worldwide it was into news. We all know that BRICS initially started with BRIC, then South Africa joined it and it became BRICS. Though a lot of people thought it is against the Western alliances, but Professor Khurana, I would like to ask you what you think. Is it against the Western alliances or is it South South cooperation moving further for energy or sustainable developments and all?
Thank you very much. It's good you are raising such interesting questions because that is what makes us to answer in an interesting fashion also and useful fashion. There is a lot in the media, but we have to go beyond that. There's a lot in media about the summit, but we have to go to when it was founded, what it has achieved, what is now happening in terms of induction of more people and other policies, and then see what it is likely to become. And from the Indian point of view, what have we contributed to it so far? What are we getting from it so far? And what we would be giving it and what we will be taking. Because this is a group for the first time of developing countries. Okay, so briefly the background is that Goldman Sachs, there was one hedge manager, I'm forgetting his name, who in 2000 proposed that what if the developing countries came together?
Right.
Would they be better off? And he proposed the name also, almost jokingly at that time. Let it be called BRICS. But then he said it is BRIC. So it's Brazil, because the largest country in South America, and with lots of resources and things which China needs, for example, barley and wheat and all the agricultural commodities, and it has oil too. And then Russia, lots of oil, lots of diamonds and gold and rare materials and capabilities, military equipment, space, and very, very large, because in Europe for centuries, if you keep the Greenland out, which is a big area, very little population, then the Tsarist Empire, and after that the USSR, and even now Russia, have been the biggest in terms of the area. Going up to Siberia, then it also touches China, right? And China touches India. So people think that they are different countries, not really. And so Russia, then India, and then China. And 2008, they thought that they should induct a willing partner from Africa.
Then South Africa joined.
And therefore South Africa joined 2008. And till that time, they didn't have what you might call any practical achievement because different issues are happening. 2008 financial crisis had happened, so people were going after it. West was declining, USA was declining, they had a lot of financial problems. Some people also thought they might have banking failures, etc. Anyway, they were Lehman Brothers and all that.
Lehman Brothers, yes.
Very large financial agencies since ages on top. And later now, recently also Credit Suisse, second largest Swiss bank, or even global bank, and then a few other banks. So China. Now this does not have yet a headquarter in that sense. And with the summit, the operating office moves to the country which is chairing it. And last 3 years, there was no person-to-person summit because of the COVID and later effects. So with that gap, there was a 15th summit now. So otherwise, every year a summit has been held. India has also chaired it once. And this time, South Africa chaired it. Now this is the time which has come where there are lots of other things in the air. There's a Ukraine war, there are sanctions on Russia, there are $700 billion or so has been captured by the USA and Europe for no reason. We will have sanctions on you, but sanctions on you, what has America got to do with that Ukraine war? That way, right? They're not neighbors, they're not part of NATO, they're not part of any alliance, but yes, we do it because we are the bosses. That has hit, and before that, economies and even societies of Iran, Iraq, Libya, Cuba, Afghanistan, where sanctions are there. Unfortunate thing is that the sanctions don't have any theory behind it. It doesn't have any specific operational policy behind it, because every country, some sectors are chosen on which the sanctions are put. And sanctions also vary. You cannot import, you cannot export, there will be duties not allowed, etc., etc.
Let's talk about in terms of BRICS, how these sanctions are affecting.
Yes. So therefore I will come to the what was expected in the. So this sanction business has hurt the sentiments a lot. And it's not just Russia. China thinks that I've got about $1 trillion worth of bonds there, USA. So tomorrow they'll say that China has attacked Taiwan, or it is about to attack Taiwan, so we will take away that container. So if they can do it Russia, they can certainly do it to other countries. Maybe not China, but other countries. So that is the big worry. Secondly, also we know it happens in India also, that the elite, including politicians and big businessmen and so on, big landlords, they send their money abroad. So now they can be also identified just as in Russia, call them oligarchs, and freeze all their assets. That's it.
That's one part of the story. Let us broadly concentrate on this BRICS summit and BRICS as a alliance between these developing nations.
Fair enough. Therefore, let's look at five or six agenda points which was there.
Yeah.
And the Sherpas were there, they went around and so on, and there was one gentleman of Indian background in South Africa who consolidated all these things and put it up to the leaders. What are they? Number one is expansion. Should we expand, not expand? And the spectrum there was and has got proven that China wanted to move fast on it. Russia wanted to move fast on it. Brazil and India wanted to move slower on it. In a sense, they also had their own candidates who should be inducted, in a sense, with whom they have closer economic relations and social relations. So that was item number one. And item number two was this only. Some people call it de-dollarization, but common currency.
Yeah. Do you think they'll come up with a common currency just like
I'm coming
EU coming?
I'm coming to it.
Okay.
I'm just first identifying the issues. Right? And then I will briefly tell what the deliberations are, but then I'll tell you the outcome. Deliberations are deliberations. And guesses about them are guesses. So that the third one is on the role of the New Development Bank. It's headquartered in Shanghai, and it's set up by the 5 BRICS nations, and each one of them gave starting private equity of $20 billion each, equal, and that's $100 billion. So we had already made loans of $30 billion, 100 loans, 100 projects, and all of them have been successful so far. There has been no bad asset, non-performing asset. But we'll come to that more. So what should be the role? Should it pick up money from the market? In which currency should it pick it up? In which currency should it give loans?
Exactly. Should there be a fund like SDR we have in IMF?
Yes, but it doesn't want to become an IMF. Why? I'll tell you why. Main reason that the philosophy of the BRICS is that every nation is an equal partner. That is not the philosophy of SDR.
So then we can have equal contribution? No doubt in SDR we have percentages.
Small African countries will not be able to give you $20 billion as starting equity. Right?
Okay.
Right. And therefore, you would have been, from the very beginning, distinguishing small from the big. The idea is that every member is an equal member. And even tomorrow, China may need to finance some project, well, they can take the money also. It's not that you have the money, therefore you don't take anything out of it. So its formation is philosophically different from the IMF World Bank philosophy. World Bank uses private money now to offlend. It's like a bank like any other.
It's functioning as a commercial bank at the world level.
And its ramrod is IMF, who will put conditionalities on you.
IMF is functioning as a central bank of any country, just like RBI.
Well, it is. It is functioning above that.
A kind of.
Above that.
Okay.
So that's the third issue. Okay. And fourth, we've already mentioned about the common currency or no?
No.
Common
We are
currency.
yet to talk.
So common currency. And they did not put the word reserve in. They said common currency. Because to call it reserve will be far too soon for a thing like this, because lots of other developmental and organizational work has to be done. And if it tries to be like the IMF, controlling the macroeconomic policy, then it is not a developing countries grouping, because they are like a developed countries imposing those things so that you behave according to them. And that behaving normally is increase the taxes, reduce money on social expenditure, and balance your budget and give us our money back. Right? Now, therefore, that's not very conducive to social development. For the name, for 1 or 2%, 3%, 4%, they might even give free grant. But then squeeze you on the other hand. Why squeeze the other hand? Even if the interest rate is low. Because today, I borrow, Pakistan borrowed $1 billion, let's say, from IMF. And it has to return $1 billion plus the interest which has accumulated. We can talk about it separately. But then when they borrowed 1 billion and used it in the country, at that time their currency was not more than 100. Ours is 60 or something like that. Today it's 282 Pakistani rupees. So they will have to collect 282 billion rupees to return that $1 billion.
Right.
Which things can be bought. That means they will have to export the rice and make so many clothes and this and then collect the 280 billion rupees. Right? But that is where the terms of trade are bad. Because normally your own currencies, developing countries' currencies will keep on losing value vis-a-vis the dollar. Right? Hardly have I ever heard that it improves in value.
But when you have it a collective, as we had it in EU, when the collective balance of trades were calculated or balance of payments were calculated, so euro had a value above US dollar.
At that time.
At that time.
Not anymore.
But still, at that was one purpose of EU euro also, to launch euro so that they can beat.
Purpose was to kind of make it parity.
Yeah, parity in the sense. Now, coming down to this BRICS, if we think about a common currency, it seems to be a good option at initial stages once we are comparing with the US dollar. But we must not forget the case of Greece, which happened in EU, whereby Greece could not sustain its recession just because they were dependent on
Okay, so let me complete the agenda item. It's very good. Right now, our Prime Minister is sitting in Greece only. After the...
Right.
And so,
today only.
Yes. Greece and to some extent Italy also. And the smaller ones we don't even remember, Moldova and so on and so forth, got into real trouble.
Real trouble because of this EU, euro only.
Yeah, because there are
heavyweights. Yes.
And you say, okay, Germany, first class, France, first class, uske baad mein sochenge. Right? Okay, so we'll come to the fifth point, therefore, is other avenues of cooperation. And before that, NDB related is whether this will go to the capital markets. And the example is that right now, during the summit, they went to the South African capital market, picked up $1.2 billion. And so now let me summarize what has actually happened.
Okay.
Number one is that there were about 70 heads of nations on the representative who attended the meeting. So you can call it at that level. Mr. Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, has done a fantastic organizational job. African Union was represented. Mr. Guterres, the UN Secretary General, had come. And so all the relevant bodies had come. But nobody from the West, because they were not invited. Mr. Macron, France, was quite keen that he's invited, but he was not invited also. Partly because of the Niger war we talked about, Niger coup and all that.
We talked about that in our GPETS.
So even he was not invited. So West, nobody there. African Union there, ASEAN there, UN there. Then the second point is that there were 28 formal applications to join the group. Rest became observers, that sense. And then 6 out of them have been selected. They have agreed to join, and the MOUs were signed yesterday. So 6 additional have come. So briefly first, what was the size of the BRICS in terms of population and GDP? 40% population. And then it was 26% when it was formed, but now it is 36% of the global GDP. That people don't talk about. How this group already was increasing its percentage in the GDP. Okay. Now these 6 are. Number 1 is Egypt, then Ethiopia. So I'm talking alphabetically. Then Kingdom of South Arabia, KSA, UAE, Iran, and Argentina. Now, Argentina is the second largest country in the South America. Brazil is largest. Put together, they're almost half of South America, and America also. And range of products they have. But Argentina's economic problems have been serious. Inflation has been high, etc. But keeping that besides, so Argentina and Brazil, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, UAE, almost same belt, Iran, same belt. Now, Iran and Saudi used to be loggerheads no more. Now they become part of one grouping. See, this is the first peace dividend there. Right? There will be second peace dividend there when they will coordinate their naval forces. And already UAE has got itself out of the naval military pact, naval pact with the USA. Okay. So see how things. Okay, now these 6, if you add today, it becomes 11-member BRICS with very good representation from different continents. Right. And somebody who says that, but they are not contiguous. The answer to that is, look at the BRI. For 10 years they have been working at it, Chinese, and look at where their new networks are going. So network with Russia is getting affected, put it very well. Our Chabahar port we keep on talking about in Iran, connected to our west coast, and then connected to St. Petersburg, and then connected to Eurasia on this side. So it's not that suddenly these things happen. There is strategic thinking behind it.
Strategic thinking, right.
And this is where the geopolitical thing is there. That Vajpayee signed it in 2000. In between, we chickened out because of sanction fear. Right? But now that railroad is getting completed and it's going via Albania. And your strategy is that you've given arms to Albania because Albania and Azerbaijan are fighting. Right? And people are saying, why have we given it to, first of all, it's a commercial deal. And second is, we have to protect our network.
Right.
So, therefore, BRICS formation will smoothen the issues related to geopolitical when you are going across the borders. Same time, the connectivity is there. What do you mean connectivity is not there? Today we have connectivity with St. Petersburg. Right? Today we have connectivity with China, longest border in the world.
Right.
Right? If we behave with each other, then useful. Otherwise, then to Brazil and all that, ports have been constructed by China because they are already buying huge amounts of agricultural commodities from there. Okay, huge. So also Argentina. Argentina is the largest wheat producer, or second or third, whatever it is.
So finally, you want to say that this BRICS summit is actually a success, and this will help in having a kind of better relationship between these 11 countries from different continents.
Okay, let me quickly therefore complete the rest of the items because they are equally important. This was only in terms of, okay, whether not being geographically contiguous comes in the way. And the other side of it is that militarily they become so strong that other people can't take panga with them. Unless they take panga with each other.
Okay.
And they will not do that because now you're part of a grouping, right? See? So, thoda muh ki sharam. So, whether formal one-to-one was there with Mr. Z or not, but Mr. Z and Modi were talking like friends, walking like friends, talking while walking. That's the summit, okay? Only उन्होंने आपस में that let's cool off on the borders.
Right.
That's all that is required. That's the advantage also. of countries which have plutocratic heads, that उन्होंने बोल दिया तो बोल दिया. Some people can criticize it's not very democratic. It's a different matter. Okay. Now, therefore, on the currency, what is stated is that at this stage we are not thinking of having a common currency. What we want to push is the mutual currency deals. We will encourage that further by mutual or local currency loans through NDB. We will encourage NDB to raise more monies, because after $100 billion equity is quite large. You can raise maybe $200 billion, $300 billion, just on that itself. And then, of course, the new ones will put in the private equity. Already the UAE and the Bangladesh and Egypt had become members of the NDB, right? And Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and UAE are not exactly poor. they have surplus monies, They also they want to invest it also, right? They want to invest it also. Even Russia has got that way. But so India specifically, we already have with 18 countries, right? We can assume that with all these countries, anyway, we will have it additional. Bangladesh, we already have it. Sri Lanka, we already have it. So we can sell to Bangladesh in electricity. A big project is there in Chhattisgarh. They can pay us in takas. And we can buy their wonderful ready-made garments, because today they are the leaders in the ready-made garments. Same thing, Sri Lanka, or we can buy Sri Lankan tea. So once we start doing it, it's like what it used to be before. A lot of people of the current generation don't know that not only till the British times, 1947, but up to 1960, it was the Indian rupee which was the currency in all the Middle Eastern countries. Oman was the last one because they got quote-unquote freedom, the last one. But even now, your rupee is acceptable there. Right? And tomorrow it will be anyways. So it is coming back. Our rupee was acceptable, was the currency in Sri Lanka, was the currency in what is Bangladesh, was the currency in what is Burma.
Right.
And going up to Cambodia and Laos. So it is just a return of those days. That is why what I call is what is happening is civilizational. These nations were kind of away from our listening because we became Eurocentric, and we know about England, even the streets, and which play is running in which theatre in the evening, but we know nothing about our neighbors.
So let's compile it in the sense that it's a culmination of civilizations, or a group of civilizations coming together. And as of now, we are not thinking of a common currency.
Just after completing the rest of the agenda, I'll comment on it.
Okay.
Now, therefore, not common currency yet, but mutual currency is to be encouraged, right? Already it is happening. We'll do more. India's UPI, what is UPI, UPI and ONDC to be adopted there also. These countries. On its own merits, it's good. On its own merits, it is the largest number of transactions it's done, right? So now we are also part of the grouping. Okay. So that means these things move slowly, and I don't spend too much time now on EU. Grew very slowly. And the ECUs, or at that time called ECUs and now called Euros, came something like after 20 years of formation. Because it's not just engagement which matters. You have to see in the long-term marriage you have to be there. And the marriage cannot be broken. Okay. So Hindus understand these things. While the market has taken note and they think that China is buying a lot of gold, Russia produces a lot and also is buying. South Africa produces a lot of gold, buying it. India buying a lot of gold. After oil, maximum amount of money gets spent is gold. And our friend Brazil, yes, same thing. Okay. So therefore, the background preparation will be there to shift to gold-backed currency.
Okay. Again, gold.
Yeah, and UAE has no problem of gold because it collects and trades.
Right.
It's a big trading center. And Saudi Arabia to hai. Okay? So therefore, their preparation will be on to be able to do it. And if it does it, there could be a major shift away from Because there's no gold backing anymore since 1971
Right.
for that, and of course Euro doesn't have backing. Okay, so next step is other issues, cooperation. So one first thing is that has anything been achieved? There were 50 businessmen, business companies which had come from China, and they had a business forum, 2 days business forum before the summit, and certain decisions which were made in that were implemented. So something like 30 projects have been signed up. Signed up. These are individual companies. Country is only giving an umbrella. And maximum is energy, because South Africa is short of energy. And of course, the countries around it are also there. So as much as they can put is perfectly all right. UAE has hinted that they will like to finance a solar project as big as they want. Because there is sunshine in Africa. Europe doesn't have it. They want to invest in alternate energies. So alternate energies is kind of now getting tied up with this. New projects, overall Africa is greatly short of energy. If it goes on the manufacturing route, it will need more energy. So why not give it good energy?
Okay.
And fund it. Okay. Now, therefore, second, Mr. Modi said 3 things. We would like scientific cooperation. We would like educational cooperation. We would like social cooperation, world cooperation, okay, and space cooperation. And hereby I announce that, we will set up a space consortium. You guys are welcome to join. Ho gaya? Chandrayaan in 3 minutes.
Right.
Huh?
So we'll talk about Chandrayaan also.
Separate.
But in our next...
Separate.
Let us now concentrate mainly on this common currency part.
Common currency, I've already discussed. That this will be mutual currency, supported. All of these guys will start dealing in each other's currency and no intermediation of dollars, right, or euro, and therefore reduce the cost. So it's a positive sum game.
Right.
It's only the confidence in each other. That's all.
So I think now it's clear that it's more or no more common currency as of now, but the currency trading each other with the backing of gold maybe in future.
Yeah.
They are thinking of.
No, they have not announced it.
They have not announced it. They are thinking of. Probably.
They are thinking of, because we are guessing, because they keep on buying gold.
We are guessing.
They keep on buying gold, yeah.
And 30 projects have been signed up. So there is a...
By China.
By China.
Yeah.
And probably in coming future, India has already given them invitation for space consortium, which is again
yes,
good move.
COVID medicine also.
In pharma industry.
Other vaccines also.
Right.
98% of the vaccines in Africa are imported.
Because that's what our strengths are. You're good in those industries.
For centuries.
For centuries.
In vaccine for centuries.
For centuries, right.
All the research work for malaria, for polio, and so on has been done in India. Right. And this there is a Democratic Republic of Congo, very huge country, which was under Belgium, 80 times the size of Belgium, which also has a lab, and there was a lab in what is called Oxford. And they used to take data. So put it together, this is a gold mine, better than gold mine of vaccine research, right? So vaccine is said, space consortium is said, education is said, science is said, cooperation. So the word cooperation has been used. So we are going to be open about it, whatever projects we want to work, but they were not specifically business projects, because we don't have spare money the way China has got. So China had open-hearted said, energy, ajao.
Okay. So I think...
one more small thing. Russia. Russia said, you guys will never be, nobody else will be able to say that your food security is not there. Russia is there for you. Tell us what you want, we'll give it to you. Means wheat and all. Now that's a lot,
That's a lot.
Confidence is a lot. You're not going to say it depends on the budget which something will have, somebody will have, World Food Program will have, etc. And therefore Guterres in his outside session, full session, which we will link, says that multipolarity is a good idea, right? So therefore it is about unipolar and multipolar. And here that question I will tie it up, that saying that it's not just multipolar. These 11 countries are civilizational countries. UAE and Saudi Arabia, they are the protectors of Islam. Iran is Persian civilization, and they are protectors of a particular branch of Islam. Let's put it that way. Okay? Or they think that they are the leaders of it.
So let's
And
let's wind it up, sir, because we are going. I think little.
No, you had said that, how did I call it civilization? So one last line is that this is a civilization combination. Egyptian civilization, Ethiopian civilization, South African, also because of that specific difference between the Dutch and the British, and then finally it getting an independence. And then Indian civilization and Chinese civilization. You can't get a better grouping than that. It's not just money, it's not just population, it's not just GDP.
Something more beyond.
More than that.
More than that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.